Good evening. I'm doing a short video to discuss the primary presidential elections, how candidates are chosen, and how the Electoral College plays a part in all of that. Also, I'll be getting into the popular vote only, to be a fairer system than our current setup, and how some of that may work. So I guess the first thing I looked up on the archives.web or .gov site was how candidates are chosen in the first place to be put on the ballot. I mean, after all, you can only have one Republican, one Democrat out of the 16 total that are currently running for president, or campaigning for president, I should say. There are more than one person on the ballot, but you only have one from each party. Both parties, Democrats and Republicans, have set the number of debates to be used as our national sounding board to get to know the candidates for this cycle. In the current 2015-2016 cycle, the Republicans have set up 11 debates, and Democrats have set up 6. We've got through about half of the Republican debates so far, and we've only had one Democratic, which we'll have another one here very shortly, actually. Why is there such a big difference, you might ask yourself? Well, it's because there are 10 Republicans campaigning and only 6 Democrats. So the respective parties set up the debates so that we know and we can see who's running and kind of get our own feel for the candidates and who they are. I don't know if it's because I'm getting a little bit older or if I'm more interested in the subjects or just for the fact because you can't look at any news site or any social media site without having something pop up about the primaries right now or the candidates running. But the media definitely has a way of framing everything and putting the people that they want in the limelight. Take Donald Trump, for instance. He is already a very outspoken and very outlandish person by himself. But you put him on a stage on primetime TV and advertise it. That's all you're going to hear about for at least a week, if not two. If he did good, if he did bad, how he stacks up against everybody else, and where he sat on his issues, stuff like that. I think it's kind of an unfair advantage because you may not be getting the whole truth behind something, or you may not see both sides of a story. But that's how our society works today, and unfortunately, that's how things are continue to play out for probably the foreseeable future. As for the Electoral College, I think the system is very confusing, frankly. I think a simple popular vote is all we really need. I mean, is democracy in general. That's what it should be, is we have a vote in it. So the popular vote would be a much simpler way for us to do this. The Founding Fathers set up the Electoral College because they feared that the common man would be swayed easily by somebody that could talk. So politicians would be able to get people to vote for the way they wanted them to. So they set up representatives equal to the number of people in Congress, plus the Senate. So to win the electoral vote, a person needs 270 out of 538 votes possible to get a majority and win the electoral. As we've seen has been the case in past presidential elections, somebody can win the popular vote but lose because they didn't win the electoral, or vice versa. It's a very confusing subject, and if you don't read up on it, if you don't have any inkling of what's going on, it's pretty confusing. So that's my take on it. I think a simple popular vote would be a much easier way for us to do this.